Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I am here to give you a small business update. So as you can tell by the title, that I've been scammed and I've decided to close down my website. So in the past 8 months, I've been scammed 3 times, twice by one person and then once by another person, both who are in the postcard community, which I feel like just made it sting a little bit worse. The person that scammed me twice scammed me once on eBay and once on the website, and then the other person scammed me on eBay. So I will go into that. And then I have just decided to close my website, and I'm going to go into details into my decision for that, because that was kind of several things that happened, just to kind of give everybody a better understanding. So first, let's talk about the scams. The first scam, a person placed an eBay order. They ordered, it was a total of 29 postcards, but they did order one that was a mystery set, became 5 postcards. And so they ordered 24 individual postcards and then the mystery set. They ordered them. They kept them for about 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden, one day my phone just started dinging like crazy. And I was getting all these items and not as described. I looked at it and it was this order that was placed. She was saying that I wasn't selling legit lantern press postcards with me, and even argued with me about this, saying I don't know what a lantern press postcard is, that I don't even realize that I'm selling counterfeit postcards, etc. So when someone files item not as described, typically eBay is like, you have to refund them, you have to pay for them to return the item or whatever. So when I talked to eBay, they were like, you don't have to make them return the item. No, they're going to return the item. I'm not playing this game. So I had no other choice to send her the shipping label for it. And she knew what she was doing. She was a seller. She knew exactly what she was doing, based on the way that she worded everything. And so eBay's like, nope, you have to take the return. You have to pay for her to ship the items back to you, etc. So I did. She had a month to send them back. She waited until the last minute to send them back. Now, prior to her sending them back, which I had told, let me backtrack. I told eBay, I was like, I have proof that I'm selling legit items that are from Lantern Press. I have the receipts from my orders, and I can get you a letter from Lantern Press stating that these are it. The postcards, majority of the ones she had the new watermark. You can clearly see it in the pictures that she sent me. So eBay said, no, we don't actually have the items, so we can't really verify that you are selling actual items and not counterfeit items. And I think that's what annoyed me the most, was her saying that I was selling counterfeit items. That's what it really got under my skin. But either way, so I sent the label to her and she could print it out and return the items. Now, I knew, my gut was telling me, 1, the items were going to come back smelling like smoke, and 2, she was not going to send back all of the items. Now, here's the thing. You can't go necessarily by weight of the label, because you have to send the label. And so when you send the return label is based off of the weight in which you sent them. So there's that. So she waits until almost the last minute to return them. So needless to say, this process went on for well over a month, because she just delayed everything. So when I get the package, I can tell that there's no way she sent all of the items back. So I decided, I was like, I'm gonna open this package on camera. I could tell by the packaging that it smelled like smoke. So I knew what she sent back, I wasn't gonna be able to resell. So I get home, I set up the camera, I open it on camera. She sent back 7 cards. 7 cards out of 29 cards. I record it, I upload it privately to YouTube with the link. It was never watched. eBay never watched it. I sent it to eBay and said, hey, I just got this package. She did not send back all the items. When she sent the package, I refunded the items that she sent back. That was it. I didn't refund the other items. I contacted eBay. I was waiting for eBay to contact me back, which it took them longer to contact me back than the time that I had to refund her money. So she got eBay involved again, and eBay gave her all of the refunds. eBay finally contacts me. At this point, I had appealed everything. And I was like, she never sent these items back, so I don't feel like I should have to refund her because she still has the items. So 4 of the appeals I won. They were like, okay, yeah, no problem. She didn't send the items back. We're just going to give you your money back. Now, here's the thing. They still gave her money back too. So she won in that case. The other ones, they were like, no, tracking shows that it was delivered. So there's nothing we can do about it. We're siding with the customer. So basically, according to eBay, the only way that I could have proved that she didn't send the items back was to purchase a tracking label for each individual postcard and have her send each individual postcard back. That would have been $5 a postcard. I'm not doing that. So, eBay has also changed a while back. You cannot leave buyers negative comments. So when I go to leave her feedback, it puts all the feedback. It won't even let you do neutral feedback. It puts all the feedback as positive. And so I stated, that she purchased the items, then claimed item not as described when they are not counterfeit items. And then she failed to return all of the items. So she had left positive comments or positive feedback, I should say. She had left positive feedback on everything from the order, how she loved the cards. They were so pretty and this, that, and the other. And she was so glad that she found lantern pressed postcards. And she didn't leave comments, feedback on 2. And so when I left my feedback, she went back on those 2 and she left negative feedback on me. eBay refused to remove the negative feedback. They removed the comments under the negative feedback because they said that the comment that she left went against eBay policy, but they did not remove the negative. They did not remove the negative feedback score, I should say. And then later they went and removed my comments from all of hers on her feedback, even though it was left as positive feedback. They went ahead and removed it. So I blocked her. It was basically a wash. It was basically a bust. I just blocked her and I was so frustrated. So this happened. And then a few months later, I go out of town and I get a message from eBay saying that there's been a chargeback. So I'm like, what is a chargeback? I've never had a chargeback before up until this point. I go and I look and they're like, this person has disputed with their financial institution that they do not know what this charge is, that they did not approve it. So I was like, great. So I submit all this information and everything for them to appeal to the bank or whatever. They appeal it, the bank sides with the customers. I've just come to realize that 9 times out of 10, everything's going to side with the customers. It doesn't matter about the seller. It doesn't matter about the seller's business or anything else. This is just what they're going to do. So she gets to keep the items. It was almost $100 order. She got to keep the items. I had to pay the bank back, plus I get a fee for the chargeback. A few weeks later, I get a website order. Now, this time, she places the order under her mom's name. And this one is kind of, part of me faults myself for this and part of me doesn't. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. She placed it under her mom's name, but the order was going to her. So I was like, well, maybe it's her birthday or something, and her mom is purchasing her the cards for her birthday. So I go ahead, I ship the order out. It's another $100 order. And 2 days after I ship it out, then comes another chargeback. Oh, this person didn't authorize this charge. Now, at this point, I try to go to the post office and divert her shipment because she has not received her shipment yet. It's close to her, but it doesn't say that it's out for delivery. And they're like, it's going to cost you money to do this. I don't care. I'll pay it. Whatever. I don't want her to get this order. So they say that it's too far in the process for me to be able to stop the delivery. So basically, she's going to get the product. I text her and I sent her an email and I was like, you have 7 days to return this order. You can just take it back to the post office and you can tell them you return to sender. You have 7 days to do this, and I will not move forward with pressing charges. She does not do it. So I contact the post office and find out that this is technically mail fraud because she is ordering stuff and she's using the post office to steal it. She's getting it sent to her and then she's going back to her bank and she's saying, hey, sorry, didn't authorize this. I again get stuck with another fee. I have to pay the bank back for the cost and she gets to keep the inventory. Now from her alone, between having to pay back the things, losing the inventory and the fees, it was $404 loss just from her. And then the other one was, I think, a $68 loss is what it ended up coming out to. This was frustrating and this was hard because I had personally, back when I was swapping postcards and everything, I'd swapped with these people. The second person, I'd swapped with her a lot. We would talk randomly and everything. And so, and she's not denying that she didn't get, it's not like she went to the bank and was like, hey, like, I purchased this, but never received it and I want my money back. Like, nope. She's like, yeah, I got it. And I just didn't authorize it. Like, it's whatever. So I did file a case with the post office for mail fraud and waiting for an update. They've accepted the case. They just have to investigate it. I looked into pressing charges against her. The downfall to that is she's out of state. And so we were looking to do petty larceny, but petty larceny has to do with where the item was obtained. And technically the item was obtained in the state in which she lives because it was mailed to her. So we weren't able to do that. They're like, you could do a civil suit. And I was like, what's the point? I have to pay a whole bunch of money to do a civil suit. We already know she has the items. She's out of state. It's not like she's going to come here. So, and for me to press charges against her, I have to go to her state. So that's just even more money lost. So basically she gets to get away with this. And this is the crappy part of having a small business and the crappy part of internet crime is so much of them are so hard to do anything about. So it's just basically a loss. So yeah, prior to this, I was already contemplating shutting down my business because it just was at a place where it's just not profitable anymore. And this is a hobby business. I didn't go into it to get rich. I didn't go into it to, make a bunch of money or whatever. I was doing good to break even. There was a point in time where I was actually doing really, really good with it. But the past 2 years with the economy and everything, it's just harder for people to spend money on hobbies that they like and stuff. And sales started to slow down. Another thing with it, because I've done it myself, you get into it and you buy a lot and you trade a lot and you swap a lot and you send a lot, and then I go through periods where I just don't do anything with it. I don't buy, I don't swap, I don't trade, I don't send, I just don't do anything with it. And so it's one of those ones where it kind of fluctuates, which is fine. So typically around the holidays and stuff, we would slow down because people aren't investing in their hobbies necessarily. They're buying stuff for other people and everything like that. So certain times a year, it was always slower. And then other times a year, it was really good. Now, the company that I buy from, they, every so often, they change how they do things. And so one thing that they have changed was the dollar amount in which you have to place your wholesale order. So I think originally it was like $100, and then it went to 200, and then it went to 300, and it was no big deal. I was like, I can start putting, like, buying stuff in advance. It's fine. No big deal on the $300 increase. The change that happened that really hurt was when they doubled the minimum quantity that you had to purchase. And I feel like that this hurt other businesses that sell like I do too, because I've noticed that they haven't been uploading new inventory very often this past year. So originally your minimum quantity was 36 and they upped it to 72. Not a huge deal, but I wasn't at a place to need that quantity. And I also don't want an influx of cards too, because that's the whole point with swapping. You have a limited quantity that you put out there, and so it opens up the door for people to swap. And so it was easy to sell out of cards and everything. Well, when they doubled the quantity, then it was costing more to get the items, and I'm just not selling that quantity. So I was starting to have a lot of leftover inventory. It used to cost like $270 for me to place an order with what I typically released a month. It was about $270, and it was easy to get my money back. Typically, I would make my money back in the month, and then whatever was left from that was all profit. It's no problem. But when they changed their minimum requirement to stay at the volume that I was at with what I was releasing, it put it at over $400 a month to buy the inventory for that month. And so there were plenty of months where I did good to break even between shipping costs, the website costs, inventory costs, and everything. And there were plenty of months where I was at a loss, but it wasn't like a huge loss. And I was just kind of at a place where this brings me joy. Sending orders brings me joy. I love providing postcards that are really hard to find to people who love to swap the postcards that are really hard to find. And so to a degree, I was willing to take a loss, but then the loss got higher and higher. And I was like, I really can't justify staying with this. I can't justify continuing going down this road. Now, also during this time, I started having issues with the company that I do the website through. They keep changing things and upgrading things, which is fine. That's part of life. But it's a lot of stuff that they're changing is no longer compatible with the computer that I have. And the computer that I have, it works. And I don't want to go out here and buy another computer to be compatible with one website with what they're doing. And so I'm not able to do some of the things that I was able to do previously. And I'm not able to like print things that I like to print for my records and everything anymore. And so that was frustrating because also at this time they raised the cost of the website. And this company just doesn't communicate things. They don't communicate changes. They just do things. Just like just now when I went in, they've added a new category to everything for tax purposes. But instead of notifying us that, hey, like, we're doing this and we're making our change, they just go in and change it. And they had random categories for random things. Like some of the postcards they had under jewelry, some they had under clothing, some they had under home and garden, some they had under collectibles and artwork and stuff. And I was like, well, at least you're kind of getting close there. But so they make a lot of changes, and then you're having to backtrack and go in and fix all these things. But who knows when you're even going to notice that they did these changes. Well, tax time comes around, and I go, it's the end of the month, end of January, I go to check, and our 1099s aren't available. So I'll wait until the first week of February. And I go and 1099s still aren't available. And so I contact them and they're like, oh, let me check into this. Oh, by the way, we filed an extension and the 1099s will not be available until probably the end of the month. Okay, are y'all going to notify your customers that the 1099s aren't going to be available until the end of the month? At this point in time, during all of this is when I was dealing with the first chargeback from the person on eBay. So it was just a mess. And he's like, the guy that I was talking to about the 1099s, he's like, well, check back at the end of the month. And if they're not there by the end of the month, there's a good possibility that they filed another extension and it'll be another 30 days. Okay. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I thought that 1099s, W-2s, all that stuff had to be put out at a certain time. I didn't realize companies could file extensions and delay it and everything else. At this point, I already had my 1099 from eBay. I already had my 1099 from PayPal. I already had my 1099 from Patreon. This company was the only company that I did not have it from. So, needless to say, everything just kind of frustrated me because everything was kind of simultaneously happening with all of this, and getting help for the website, like the things that I wasn't able to do anymore. And they're like, oh, it's your printer. It's not my printer. My printer is fairly new. It's not my printer. And if my printer is making your website not work, there's an issue. And I was like, look, I've tried different computers. I've tried different printers. I've tried different internets. Like, this is your website because this is an issue that is happening no matter where I am. So, yeah. Anyway, so I was just kind of at a place where I'm not profiting anything. It's a loss and I can't justify the loss. And then that's when I got scammed the second time. Now, the chargeback with eBay, I have a little bit of assistance with. The chargeback on the website, 0. And they'll submit things for me, but that's it. There's no help for the store owners or anything. There's nothing that the company can do or nothing that the company offers to protect the other small business or to protect the small business that they are representing. So that was frustrating. But, I just decided at the end of the day, it was time to make a change. And I can't sit here and take a loss on a business and then turn around and get scammed to creating an even bigger loss. And so I made the decision, and this was hard. I've set different dates for when I was actually going to close the website, because at the end of the day, I don't want to close my website. I love my business. It's just harder to maintain at this point, because things are constantly changing and things are costing more. And I'm not a business that I can necessarily raise the price to offset the expense that I'm accruing at the time. And so, of course, over the years, shipping has gotten ridiculous. It's getting ready to go up again. So yeah, it's hard. And it's hard because I've been seeing a lot of small businesses close lately. And I've seen a lot of small businesses that I have followed on social media or on YouTube or whatever. I've seen a lot of them come in there like, at this point in time, my business is failing. And at one point in time, my business was thriving to a point of I was able to get a warehouse. I was able to move and get a bigger house. And I was able to do all this stuff. And now it's crickets. It's nothing. And I think a lot of some of those, they were dealing with a lot of small businesses too that are closing down. And so it's hard, and it's hard to see so many things fade away and so many businesses closing. I mean, even just locally, seeing a lot of brick and mortar places closing that had started, right before the pandemic or right after the pandemic, and they just didn't make it. And so, there's some freedoms that having a small business brings, and there's some that it's just harder. And so I appreciate all the love and support for my small business. I know a good portion of it came from YouTube, and a good portion of it came from the community in which that I used to swap and be a big part of. And so I just want to thank you for that. I'm closing my website in the end of July. And so all of July, each week, I'm running a different sale. The first week, I'm doing buy two, get one free on individual stickers and postcards. I have gone in and reduced the prices of the stickers to 50 cents, and they'll just continue to keep going down. And then the second week in July will be 20% off everything in the store. And then the following week is 30. And the following week is 40. And then the last 3 days of July, what's left in the store will be 50% off. So if you're interested, take advantage of the sale. I'll be shipping everything out pretty quick and everything. I am going to continue to sell on eBay for the time being, although I feel like I'm kind of gonna dedicate to it until the end of the year, kind of see how things go and decide what I want to do at that point moving forward with that. There's part of me that wants to keep it and keep going, and part of me wants to let it go, mainly because I just want my house back. Like, this room right here is the office. There's stuff in my closet that is taking up space and everything, and we're getting ready to shift things around a little bit once again. And so I don't know, part of me just wants to let everything go and have my house back, just have my house be my house, and that is it. But having the extra income has truly been a blessing over the past years. And so I think I'll stick with the eBay side of it for the rest of the year, kind of see if I can increase sales. Having the two things happen on eBay almost back to back was a lot for me emotionally, and it took some of the joy out. I'm not gonna lie. There's a little bit of anxiety that comes when I get orders, because it's like, am I about to get scammed again? And that's hard. So, but we're working past that and everything, and we're gonna try to move forward and see 2025. I may just shut it all down, but right now we're still gonna sell on eBay, and I'm still trying to work out some details as far as keeping the subscription going. It won't be monthly. I don't know if it'll be bi-monthly or quarterly. I'm not ready to completely get out of the postcard business just yet, but it's just working out the details of it. So if you were part of the subscription, thank you for your patience. And this year, well, I keep going back and forth and trying to figure everything out and figuring out what I want to do. But yes, so stay tuned for what's next. And thank you guys for all the love and support over the years for my small business. I appreciate it a great deal. We will get through all of this just like we get through everything else in life, but take advantage of the sale if you are interested in any postcards or stickers or anything else random that is on my website. Yeah, and I will keep you guys posted. And thank you guys so much for watching and just being a part of Kel's Meljoy over the years. It has been 9 years, and it is crazy to see how it started and what it ended up as. And so yeah, and I couldn't have done that without you guys. So I will be forever grateful for each and every one of you that has supported my business over the years. And this isn't goodbye. It's just until next time, while we refigure things out and move in a different direction. So, all right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.